Team is Gary Belcher, Dale Shearer, Chris Mortimer, Mal Meninga, Michael O'Connor, Terry Lamb, Greg Alexander, Phil Daly makes his first appearance on English soil, Ben Elias the captain, Martin Bella, Paul Dunn, Les Davidson and Paul Langmack. The two reserves are the wingers of James and Beck, the centres of Kay and Pape, the halves of Cameron and Cairns, and the forwards of Kendall, Falcon, Simpson, Holiday, Mossop and Huddett. The two reserves are Lofthouse and Patterson.
They're in good attacking position here, and hopefully they can control the ball for 6 tackles and put plenty of pressure on.
Out to Meninga. There's a great run from Mortimer. Belcher in the line. Belcher got the pass back in, and that's a great try. Johnny on the spot again is Terry Lamb. So he's left off, or picked up where he left off from the whole Kingston Rovers game by scoring his 6th try of this Kangaroo Tour.
I don't think that'll come to any surprise to people at home to see who took that final pass. He's just continued that kind of form on from where he left off on Australian shores.
Great bust by Belcher. A good pass back in field, and he would have known that Terry Lamb was there, and Lamb goes over for Australia's first try. He's also finished very well with 3 tries in that left wing. There's the kick, and the flags go up, so Australia lead this match. Australia 6, Cumbria 0, and the game is only 3 or 4 minutes on. There's the quick tap take, and they move it across the line. And Belcher's claimed to the tackle. Solid defence by Kay. Now Langmack turning it back inside to Dunn, his Canterbury teammate Elias. 6 metres short of the Cumbria line, and Australia on the attack, leading by 6 points to 0. Out to Bella. He turns his back and goes on his own. Is this the first try for Martin Bella for his country? It's not. He's driven back, only a metre short. So Elias could see him go from dummy half. Unloaded it. The ball's been knocked down. That's 6 more to Australia. Mal Meninga out to Langmack. Langmack stepping back to Elias. Elias over for his 3rd try of the tour. No try. He's still short. Meninga. Terry Lamb. Would you believe it? He's in again. 7 tries in about, about 87 minutes of football in this tour, Peter.
Yes, he's certainly putting that pressure on, as you mentioned earlier, and Terry Lamb will continue to do that. He loves playing the game, and he loves being where the football is.
He scored 26 points in the first match. That's another 8 so far in this match. Australia 10, lead Cumbria. Players have been applying. Donny's got a few headaches.
Well, he's realised that not everything that's going to be learned on this tour will be learned on the field, and I think he's picked up a lot from playing and being around with the great players in this side, and he'll continue to learn the whole tour.
Well, he's a tremendous young tourist, Phil Daly. Alexander on the wraparound with Lamb, and now Meninga, cut out pass. A chance now for Dale Shearer, his first touch of the match, looking for support, and Greg Alexander scores a great Australian try. The green and gold machine is in full cry here at Craven Park in Barrow. They lead by 14 points to 0.
And the fans certainly appreciate that kind of football. A great round of applause and a tremendous backline movement. Greg Alexander involved on a couple of occasions, and that's good football. That's where you'll catch British defences after bringing them in through good forward play, spin it out wide.
Shearer did well here, Peter. He looked around. He was always looking for support.
Well, he had plenty of it, David. That was the beauty of the try, and I think that's one of the pluses with the
scoreline after 16 minutes of play here at Craven Park. Australia 14, lead Cumbria 0.
Role in the tour with Des's injury.
I was speaking with Des Hasler the other day. The Australian jumper hasn't been all that kind to him, which he agreed. He didn't have a great test debut against New Zealand a year or so ago, and to be on the field the other night against Hull Kingston Rovers and suffer that injury and to see him in plaster. He's been in great spirits, but it must come as a cruel blow to him.
Yes, it certainly must. Des is the sort of guy that won't let it get him down, and he'll bounce back. And I know that when he does come back into full fitness, that he'll be putting plenty of pressure on for the test spot once again.
Well, here goes Shearer again down the right side. Lamb in support. A lovely pass for Alexander. Great pass for Meninga, but the referee has ruled it forward. Well, I think the crowd, despite watching the home side in action, would have dearly loved to have seen the side trailing by 14 points to 0.
I'm not quite sure what injury Paul Langmack has, but it looks a little bit tender, the area that he's holding.
There's a great bust from Cairns, and a superb tackle from Gary Belcher. Yes, Paul Langmack does look a little uncomfortable out there, Peter. There's the pass back in field. Huddart.
Well, it is a cold night, David.
So the Cumbrian side on the attack, taken upfield that time by the second row forward Holiday. Colin Falcon slipping into dummy half. Out to Huddart. Stood in the tackle, tried to unload, got it away. Here's the chance. But the man put to ground was Mossop. With the Cumbrian side on the attack. The last tackle coming up for Cairns. There's the kick. It's taken by Langmack. And Australia's defence breathes a sign. So Elias, the captain tonight, slips into dummy half. Through the dummy to Davidson. And takes play over the halfway line. Bella now to dummy half. Taken upfield by Daly. Tried to turn and unload, but was put to ground. Elias now feeding Martin Bella. And he again makes a good 5 or 6 metres into this Cumbrian defence. On the blind side goes Alexander. The cut-out pass. Langmack got the pass back in for Meninga. Meninga in the clear, draws Shearer. Shearer for the line. And Dale Shearer scores.
Yes, very poor defence from David Cairns. I think he'd be disappointed with that kind of covering tackle.
So the 4th try for Australia. Dale Shearer goes over for his first try on this tour. Meninga did very well here to get this final pass away, Peter.
Yes, I don't know how he ended up with the ball, but he didn't. He had wide open spaces in front of him, and Dale Shearer once again backing up.
So it's 18 points to 0. 23 minutes of play here at Craven Park at Barrow. Australia lead by 18 points to 0. Cameron for Cairns. Upfield goes Steve Mossop. Falcon slops into dummy half now. Feeding his halfback Cairns and cuts out Hunter. Oh, that's a pass that's gone astray. And here's another try. Greg Alexander picks it up and goes over. And that was a woeful bit of football from David Beck, the left winger for Cumbria. And Greg Alexander scores his second try.
Yes, again, not a good pass from the halfback, which started everything off, and the Australians on the spot to capitalise on what turned out to be a very easy try.
Well, Beck here really didn't want it. Alexander just picked it up, stepped back inside the fullback, beat the tackle of Tony Kay, and that puts Australia in the lead by 22 points. Struck it well again. This time the flags go up, and so Australia in the lead by 24 points to 0.
Well, I think Don Ferner will certainly get the fact across that he'd like to see the discipline more than the ball thrown around. I think the important thing is to get in the position to score tries, not actually score them, and discipline does that for you.
Well, somebody's going to play a Graham Cameron and also Milton Huddart, the lock forward for the Cumbrian side. Milton, of course, was out with the Canberra team earlier this year, playing in the reserve grade side under Alan McMahon. Of course, his senior coach from that club is the man that's guiding Australia's destiny here in Great Britain, Don Ferner. That was a solid tackle on Huddart. He's still feeling the effects of that as Cameron loses the ball. Oh, that's an obvious offside. But I think the referee may have felt that was towed through by an Australian.
Well, I can't follow the decision. I thought he was a long way offside.
More importantly, Cumbria come up with possession as Cairns feeds Kay. Oh, that's a good break by Kay. And he takes play up towards the Australian 22. Cairns out for Huddart. Now for Cameron. The little kick through. Oh, it's been taken out by Langmack. And a penalty. A good decision. Elias for Dunn to Alexander and Elias. To Dunn again. And now Terry Lamb. Broke the first line. Surprised that we haven't seen a lot more running from dummy half from Benny Elias in this match so far.
I think you'll see that come, David. The other forwards have been making great ground up the middle. And
well, the Tappers have played in back play. Well, there's really no need for this. But the Tappers, afraid, I think a couple of players may get the chat here from the referee, John McDonald.
I think he sent Terry Lamb off for 10 minutes.
So Terry Lamb goes to the sin bin for 10. And also, with Lamb off the field, Alexander's gone to 5-8. And they've lost possession from the scrum win. Kendall, pass for James. James inside the 22, but a beautiful tackle from Gary. He takes play midway between the half and the 22 at Australia's end of the ground. Cairns now works towards the far side. out towards the centre three-quarter K. He's looked impressive. He's beaten the first line on 2 or 3 occasions. Runs from dummy half. And again showing his strength. Got the pass away. This could be a try to Cumbria. It's a try. Les Holiday scores his team's first try. And isn't he elated? So too are the fans. And it all came from that probing play from Tony Kay, who came into the side, Peter, as a late replacement.
Yes, well, Cumbria are on the board, but I think it was a bit of a hometown decision. This pass looked a long way forward. But that's not the sort of tackle you'd expect Paul Langmack to miss too often.
Good goal tonight. He struck it well, he split the uprights, and so the scoreline 24 points to 6. And we've had now 38 minutes of play.
Something that we don't enjoy.
Well, no doubt the second half performance where they allowed Wigan to score 3 tries wouldn't have been a pleasing aspect of that match. Kerry Bowstead, of course, scored another one against Australia the other night, and Hull Kingston Rovers as Meninga charges upfield. He's just short of the line. No, he's not short of the line. The try has been awarded. So Big Bal Meninga scores Australia's 6th try as they go to a 28-6 lead as we fast approach half-time.
Yes, that's a good answer to the Cumbrian try. Once Mal Meninga's on the move 5 yards out from the line, you'll never stop him. And again, just tremendous strength from a big man.
Well, Shearer got held up. The support was there again. That's been a feature of the Kangaroos here in 86. Tremendous support play. Meninga finally pivots around to place the 8 points to 6 in Australia's favour. Holiday. In fact, it's the prop forward Simpson who's driven back about 5 metres out from the Australian line. Hands now, feeding Mossop. Mossop charges upfield and Sirenen meets him head on with the assistance of Langmack. Switch of play. That's Kendall, the prop forward. Cairns directing traffic out there. That's Holiday running wide and then straightens. Oh, through the superb pass, and that's a try. That's a great try to Graham Cameron. Superb build-up, and Australia's defence found wanting.
Well, that shows the English ball skills are still well and truly alive. A great late ball there from the 580 and under the posts.
28 points to 10, the scoreline. Try. There's the kick. 28 points to 12, Australia in the lead. As you recall the game, that he ended up with a dreadful cold, and it all came from Wayne Pearce running past him all night. As the scrum went across, and Australia on the attack again. Alexander is collared. That's him in support. That's O'Connor, and he's taken in the tackle. So Australia sweep 60 metres upfield as they launch the attack again. Gary Belcher trying to redeem himself from that earlier knock-on. Takes play just short of the 22 at Cumbria's end of the ground. Alexander for Lamb. Did well to hang on to the pass. Now it goes out through Bella. Charging upfield, trying to unload. But the ball's gone astray, and Cumbria come up with possession of the ball. Back it goes now. There's Hunnett. Kick over the Australian defence. Good positional play by O'Connor. Showed those superb pair of hands again on the left wing. And takes play midway between the half and the 22 at Cumbria's end of the ground. There's the play the ball. It goes out through Langmack. Gary Belcher. Over the 22, Belcher. Belcher will score. Gary Belcher scores Australia's 7th try. And Australia lead by 32 points to 12.
Finisher Gary Belcher, and I think he certainly made up for the one blemish he's made in the game so far. Throws in the big step, the fullback, and gave him no chance.
So Gary Belcher, the Queensland State of Origin fullback, now based with the Canberra Raiders, scores his first. Lamb moves in. There's the kick. It goes over the top of the grandstand, and so Australia lead by 34 points to 12, and we've had just on 11 minutes the Doug Lucas look-alike, and I'm sure that the play midway between the half and the 22. Langmack for Paul Sirenen. Got the pass out the back door for Davidson. Now for Langmack. Back in field for Dunn. and the big Canterbury player goes charging upfield. Unloaded it again. Alexander in support. He has Meninga. In turn Mortimer, but he cuts him out and gave it to O'Connor. And O'Connor's finally claimed by Lofthouse, who's come across from the left wing in cover. So the Australians with the willingness to throw the ball around in the second half. They lead by 34 points to 12. They've scored 7 tries to 2. Lamb. Shearer, taken high. And didn't really like that tackle from Kevin Pate. Now Lamb, high in the air as he's been flattened. Smith took it well again. Back it goes again, once again for Huddett. Another big kick downfield for Belcher. This time he takes it well, and that wasn't an easy one to take.
Well, I think that was harder than the first two, but it'll certainly please Gary Belcher taking that one.
Well, guess who's backing up? It's Terry Lamb. And makes a good 15 to 20 extra yards for Australia. Benny Elias feeding Sirenen, his Balmain teammate. Don't be surprised to see Elias go on his own from dummy half. There he goes. Benny Elias. Ball has been knocked back. Davidson, Alexander, out to Lamb, in turn for Langmack. And Australia now charging towards that Cumbrian line. Alexander, O'Connor, and O'Connor scores his 4th try of the tour. Well, they make it look so easy. Lamb is bobbed up, but don't tell me that's his 7th try. It is too. It's Terry Lamb, Peter, that goes over for yet another try. His 3rd in this world, with Australia in the lead. Good strike from Elias. On the blind side goes Alexander. This time Michael O'Connor for the line.
That's a great tackle from the fullback.
Stopped him dead, just short of the line. Paul Dunn. And Dunn is held up short of the line. Well, there's Alexander. No defence there whatsoever. And Alexander goes over for his 3rd try of the night. So 2 hat-tricks to the Australians, 1 to Terry Lamb and 1 to Greg Alexander. And that's so easy, Peter.
Well, it's just blistering pace off the mark. Poor defence, but I think they're starting to get a little bit tight.
That's something that he enjoyed in the Sydney Premiership this year. This time the ball hit the post. So no goal. And the scoreline with 29 minutes of play gone here at Barrow. Australia in the lead by 42. Lamb. Meninga. Now for Belcher. Australia moving to top gear again as Belcher goes up towards the 22. Gave it to Shearer. He'll have too much pace for the corner. And that's a try. Dale Shearer scores his 2nd. And it's 46 points to 12 in favour of Australia.
Strength and speed in the backs there. Terry Lamb picked up a difficult ball, hit Mal Meninga, and it was just size and a good ball to put Gary Belcher into the clear. Good fend and a good pass, and Shearer too much pace.
That's a good sign to see a winger going straight to the corner, Peter.
Yes, it's, we're very well endowed with wingers.
1 in each half as Lamb comes in. There's the kick. That's a great kick from Terry Lamb. What a superb kick into the breeze and from touch. And Australia lead by 48 pointing in with 3 goals as well. So we'll take a break here on Network 10. We'll come back against Hull Kingston.